Okay. Challenge, Bismillah, let's begin. Okay, so मैं आपको सिर्फ ये दिखाना चाह रहा हूँ कि in the exam there is a typical way the examiner will assess you for the idea of food webs. Okay, so uh, let's talk about this food chain that we were talking about. वो आपसे ये पूछेगा, देखिए, the fact that they're interlinked, बच्चों मुझे ये बताएं that if there is something happening to any organism in the food chain, do you think at the end of the day eventually it will affect each and every almost all of the organisms of the food web? What do you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for example, अगर मैं आपको कहता हूँ कि एग्जाम में वो आपसे पूछेगा कि आप बताएं अगर स्टोर्ड जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाते हैं, एक्सटेंट हो जाते हैं, what effect will that have maybe on, you know, the owl, for example, or on the rat? Okay. So let's look at the same example that I've given. So let's say that this becomes extinct. Extinct ho jata hai. Now the question is, what will happen to the owl? So what is the line of argument that I will give? I will say that if the storts they get extinct, no, so the predator for rats finishes. So what that means is, will the rats increase in number or decrease in number, बच्चों? देखिए जो rats को खा रहा है वो बेचारा वो extinct हो गया ना, जो rat को खा रहा है. The animal that is consuming or feeding on rat is extinct, so the rats will increase. And if the rats they increase, what food, for whom is the food being increased? Is the food being increased for the owl? देखिए ना, the number of rats they increase, and if they increase, which animal is owl consuming rat or is rat eating the owl?
The owl's eating the rat.
Exactly. So if the food increases, that means that more owls can stay healthy, reproduce. So therefore, at the end of the day, the number of owls will increase. ठीक है? तो इस तरह के questions वो आपसे पूछता है. I just want to give you a slight example. This is another picture that I have for explaining what a food web is. So let's look at this exam style question, बच्चों. ये उसने एक आपको food web दिया हुआ है. Clearly, it's quite an entangled food web. It says from the food web, name a carnivore. Just one carnivore. I mean, कुछ भी ले सकते हैं. देखिए, mountain lions are consuming deers. So can we say mountain lions are carnivores? क्या ख्याल है बच्चों?
Yeah.
Okay, so mountain lions. Okay, producer. Anji. Any from these three is going to be the producer. Okay, so any three from them. Okay. Acha ji, look at the third part. That's interesting. A consumer from the second trophic level. That's the first trophic level. That's the second trophic level. That's the third, and that's the fourth trophic level. Okay, a consumer from the second trophic level. So anything from the squirrels, from the rabbits, इसमें से आप कोई भी बता दें, that's the correct answer. Okay. All right. C part, in some regions, Mountain lions have been hunted and face extinction. Okay, so I'm highlighting the mountain lions, they become extinct. अब वो आपसे कह रहा है suggest how the coyotes might be affected if the mountain lions they become extinct. So this effect has been asked for mountain lions if they get extinct. So बच्चों, think about this. What do you think will happen? I'm giving you a minute. Think about it and then tell me with the explanation what do you think will happen to the coyotes? Will they increase in number or will they decrease in number?
I think I got the answer. So if mountain lions get extinct, right, it becomes
Mhm.
less competitive. So the coyotes can easier find food, can find food more easily, and then the number increases of coyotes.
Okay, I like the way you put it. Girls, can I have some input, please? जी बच्चों, देखिए mountain lions have extinct, okay, have become extinct. Now, if the mountain lions have become extinct, what that means is that mountain lions are no more feeding on the deers and the grazers. Deers and other grazers were the food for mountain lions. Agreed? Come on, tell me yes or no. Let me repeat the statement. Deers and grazers were the food for mountain lions. Yes or no?
Yes.
अच्छा जी, तो अगर mountain lions खत्म हो गए हैं तो deers and grazers will increase in number, and if they increase in number, what that means is that the food for coyotes is also increasing, so the coyotes will also increase. Okay, so that's basically the answer. And when you're writing the explanation, of course you write in terms of feeding patterns. Okay. Chale ji. So now I'm coming back to the idea of food chain now. We talked about the sun being the principal source of energy in all biological systems. There's one thing that we need to understand, and that is ये जो energy flow है बच्चों in the food chain, it is non-cyclic. Simply what that means is that once the energy is coming out of the sun, it does not go back. Look at the first bullet point. I have all of the points as spoon feeding for you. It says non-cyclic means that the energy flow is in one direction and does not return to the source, that is the sun. That's a classical definition of what non-cyclic energy flow is. And this topic, by the way, is very important from the exam perspective, okay? It is partly used and partly lost in the environment and can be replaced only by further input. अच्छा जी, फिर थोड़ी सी डिटेल आपको, when you're talking about the non-cyclic flow, you have to explain what happens at the producers. And you know this already. It says light energy from the sun is absorbed in the plants by chlorophyll and converted into chemical energy. So you can clearly see you are telling the transition of energies. Light energy being converted into chemical energy, of course, by this is being done in chlorophyll to form carbohydrates, and this process is photosynthesis. Okay. Acha ji. The third bullet point is very interesting. It says this chemical energy enters the food chain when the primary consumer, usually a herbivore, feeds on the plant and therefore uses energy. When the herbivore is eaten by the consumer in the next trophic level, the chemical energy is passed on, and this process continues up to the decomposers. That is why in a food chain you are drawing arrows, and that is why we say that this thing that the arrows represent is the energy transfer. The energy is being passed on from A to B, B to C, and C to D. Of course, majority of them is of the energy is being lost, and that's the next thing that we will be looking at. Okay. अच्छा जी, सबसे पहले तो देखें आप, think about it. It's simple and logical. Do you think when we're talking about, excuse me, the sun, what are the two major energies that are coming from the sun? Number one is light energy. What's the other?
Heat.
Heat energy. Excellent. Now, do you think all of the energy coming from the sun will be absorbed by the plant? Think about it. I mean, look at this diagram. This is really explaining how what happens to the energy. Okay, so you can see that the 40% of the sunlight is actually not being touched by the plants. It's warming up the soil, air and vegetation. आप देखें वो वाला arrow उस बेचारे plant leaf को cross करके इस side पे आ रहा है. And then 39% is causes evaporation of water from plants. 20% is reflected away from plants. Simple reflection हो जाती है. And then it's literally only 1% of energy that is used in photosynthesis. So imagine 99% of energy is lost or used in other stuff, and it's only 1% of energy that is being used in photosynthesis. Okay? So that's the first step. Now, when an animal is eating the अब ठीक है grass ने जो है वो energy 1% consume कर ली, ठीक है, now it has energy. Now the animal is feeding on the grass, and this animal will be eaten by another animal, for example. So uh, it eats grass, उसके टिश्यूज में कुछ एनर्जी स्टोर होती है. Some energy is lost as a result of respiration happening. 40 you don't need to remember these values. Okay, you just need to make sense from this diagram कि जो मैंने आपको कहा था कि अगर हम एक फूड चेन की बात कर रहे हैं. Okay, I claim that 90% of energy is lost, and it's only this 10% that is transferred. So we really need to make sense कि जो 90% energy lose हो रही है, where is it going? Well, it is going away in respiration, heat, excretion. I'll give you a mnemonic for this so that you can remember. I want you to look at this diagram. This is a very good diagram that basically explains the same idea that I'm trying to reiterate. And that is, you look at this, this is a food chain which shows three trophic levels. You have the grass, you have the deer, and then you have the lion. Now look at this value, 1,000 joules of or joules of light energy is coming from the sun, and only 10 joules energy available as food. Okay. Acha, out of those 10 joules, uh, sorry, 1,000 joules of light energy. Acha, sorry, 1,000, I'm sorry, मैंने गलत बोल दिया, blah, blah, blah. Just forget about what I said. It's 1,000 that is consumed by the plant, and it's only 10 joules that is passing on. 990 joules of energy is lost to the environment. What happens in the plant that causes this energy to be lost and not to be transferred? We will look at this, and then look at the deer. Deer ऐसे लग रहा है ना आपकी तरफ गुस्से से देख रहा, गुस्से से नहीं देख रहा, वो वैसे ही आपको लग रहा है इस वक्त. Okay, so look at the deer. How much energy is passing on from the deer to the lion, बच्चों? बताएं जरा मुझे देख के.
1 joule.
1 joule. The remaining 9 joules, which makes 90%, is lost to the environment. And the same thing is true for this. So I'm trying to make a point. Almost 90% of energy is lost all along the food chain, and only 10% is transferred. So we need to understand, where does that energy go? So this is a slide that is in a good way explaining. I want you to look at the diagram first. So you can see the red arrow, that's the energy input from the sun. Then you have producers, that's the first trophic level, primary consumers, second trophic level, secondary third, and tertiary fourth. Now you can clearly see that the arrows that are going, these arrows, they represent energy transfer. But you can see other arrows coming to the sides of these trophic levels, which are showing how energy is lost. So looking at the text, बच्चों, और again ये exam perspective से बड़ा important है, इसलिए pay attention. So it says it's description of energy losses in a food chain. Almost 90% of energy is lost when it is transferred from one trophic level to the next. Following are the ways in which it is lost. Number one, release of energy during the process of respiration. देखिए respiration से एक तो heat produce होती है, and does somebody remember what are the energy consuming processes in the body? or in mammals that we saw. I remember I told you a mnemonic. Does somebody remember that mnemonic? GC man PT. Yaad aaya? So it is used in growth, it is used in cell division, it is used in muscular contraction, it is used in active transport, it is used in passage of nerve impulse, it is used in protein synthesis, and it is used in temperature regulation. ठीक है, तो ये सारे अलग अलग मार्किंग पॉइंट्स बनते हैं if you identify. So these are different reasons. So for example, if we are talking about the secondary consumer and the primary, sorry, the primary and the secondary consumer, then where exactly is the energy lost? Why isn't full energy being transferred from the primary consumer to the secondary? Because much is happening in the primary consumer that causes loss. And apart from this, it's also when they die, in their feces and in their excretion, there's loss of energy. Bachcho, have I been able to make you understand this process or this idea? ये बहुत important बात है बच्चों. Is everybody clear on this?
I didn't get it.
Okay. Uh, you know, if you're talk, you did you understand this part, Niaz? This diagram that when
Oh yeah,
one,
where like
okay.
90% is lost, right?
So in the following slide, I'm just trying to justify where does that 90% go? It goes in active transport, in muscular contraction, in growth, in protein synthesis, in the fecal matter, and when they die, and when energy is produced in respiration, and so on and so forth. So this is explanation of
Okay.
where is it lost. Okay, you understand? Girls, is everybody clear on this?
Yeah, I got it.
ओके चले जी, लड़कियों और बच्चियों आपको भी पसंद आ गया है, समझ आ गया, चले जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. चलिए जी, अगली बात पिरामिड ऑफ बायोमास, पिरामिड ऑफ नंबर्स की है. इस पर टाइम लग जाएगा. चलें, आई एम सॉरी, मैंने आज 10 मिनट लेट शुरू की. आज मेरे ख्याल से फिर हम रोकते हैं इसको. इंशाल्लाह आई एम होपिंग दैट बाय कमिंग मंडे हम जो है ना अपने स्केड्यूल पे बड़ा सही जा रहे हैं. मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर दूंगा. आज मैं आपको अभी ईमेल भी कर दूंगा वी ट्रांसफर ड्रग्स का जो चैप्टर है, वो आप अपनी ईज के, और नेक्स्ट वीकेंड पे जिस तरह मैंने आपको बताया हुआ था, every weekend I will be sharing stuff throughout the March, 2 recordings per week, and that will also include the ATP recordings, inshallah. ठीक है जी, चलें जी, inshallah we're stopping here today. If you have any questions, I'm supposing you have as usual no questions. चलें, inshallah इसको हम continue करेंगे tomorrow, and let's see till where can we go tomorrow. Thank you बच्चों, see you tomorrow 8 p.m. exactly. Jazakallah khair and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.